Hello everybody, this is the Exotic Bourbon Hunter over at NSA Naval Base Commissary. This is going to be a top secret find, baby. We've got goodies in here that you can't believe. Are you ready? Just don't forget to thank your friends, your family who are in the military, and all the branches. You got the Air Force, Navy, Space Force. We've got the Coast Guard and the Marines. And I believe that covers it all. But everyone, stay tuned and forget about it. Bada bing, bada boom. Ayo! Wow! Hello, how you doing? We're over here at the NSA Commissary, or at NSA Jacksonville, the Naval Air Base Station. We have another treat here, over here at their bourbon selection. They have a much bigger selection here than they have over at the other location. Alright, we're going to start off over here. They got Booker's 2023 Batch 4. I can't read, 2023 Batch 4. They also have Little Book over here, into the Knob Creek 12. Knob Creek 12 comes in at 59 beans. Then we have our Bullet Bourbon single barrel. And we go into our Remus over here. This is going to be the Repeal Reserve coming in at 109 beans. And then we have our Wilderness Trail straight rye whiskey. And here we got some Sazerac rye over here at NSA Jacksonville. And that comes in at 25 beans. You can't beat that for a bottle of Sazerac rye. You really can't. That's delicious stuff too. Over here we're going to have our Maker's Mark limited release 2023 coming in at 82 beans. Into the Maker's Mark Private Selection coming in at 70 beans. And then we have some new Rift up here too. From there, we're going to graduate into our Canadian whiskeys here. We have Crown Royal Noble Collection coming in at 96 beans. And then we have some Crown Royal Black, into the Peach, the Apple, and regular Crown. And then we're going to go from there and start going into our bourbons here. So we have our Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. It's actually on sale, 15% off. And also have the Jack Daniel's Barrel Select. And then we're going to go into our Jack Daniel's Bonded. And then Woodford Reserve is going to be on sale. So is the Woodford Reserve Rye and Malt. And then we have the Double Oak over here. I bought a bottle of the Double Oak at the Mayport Commissary. But this comes in at 57 beans. From there, we're going to go down into other Jack products such as the Honey, the Jack Daniel's Fire, and then the number 7 goes great with Coke. Jack and Coke, baby, all night long. Today's Friday. Let's get it. Then from here, we got our Blue Run. We have High Rye for 111 beans. And then we have the Blue Run Reflection. And we also have our Kentucky Owl bourbon whiskey, into the Wise Man. We have our Whistling Pig. And then we have our Widow Jane, aged 10 years, for 88 beans. I might pull a trigger on that. From there, we go down to our Brothers in Bond and George Remus. We go into our new Rift. And then from there, we got our Balcones, into the Rebecca Creek, into the Old Elk. We've got blended straight bourbon and wheated bourbon. We have our Breckenridge bourbon over here too. And then into our Tin Cup, coming in at 33 beans. This is over at the NSA.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have it.
From there, we're going to go into our Tin Cup over here, and then we're going to go into our Howler Head and into the Reserve bourbon. From there, we're going to go back over here to the Bowman's Brothers And I will sleep on the bottom shelf here because they had the military special in the early times. From there we go into 1972 into the Coopers and into Texas Bourbon. And from there we go on up top here. We have our High West Bourbon and Double Rye. And then we go into Stranahan's. They have single malt. They've got original and sherry cast. And then we go into Bardstown. The Bardstown here is the Fusion Series. And that's going to come in at 59 beans. From there we have our Uncle Nearest.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have approximately...
Next we're going to make our way into the Maker's Mark Cask Strength, and then we're going to go into the regular Maker's Mark, both the big boy and the little boy bottles over here. And on top we go into our Callum 16, coming in at 150 beans. And then we have our Laws Bourbon, which I was talking to you about over at the Mayport location. We have our Uncle Nearest up top here. And then from there we're going to go into our Horse Soldier. I did purchase a bottle of the Horse Soldier over here, the silver label. At the last location over at Mayport, it was signed. They have one last bottle here that's signed too. It'll be interesting to open that up and see how good it is. And from there we go into our Sagamore Spirits. We have the Rye and also Jefferson's Ocean. A lot of people have been talking about the Sagamore Spirit. I haven't pulled the trigger and bought one yet. But from there we have our Bullet Rye. We have our Angel's Envy finished rye. And then we're also going to have our Templeton Rye. Go into our Hudson Whiskey over here. Now we're going to go over here into the Elijah Craig. Coming in at 59 beans, or the looks like it's also on sale for 24 here. We also have the Elijah Craig Rye Whiskey, into the Evan Williams. And then we're going to graduate into the Old Forester here, and then into the Russell's Reserve Rye and Russell's Reserve Single Barrel, and then into the 6-year. And then we're going to go into the Templeton Rye here, 4-year, and then age 6-year. And then we have our Hudson River. We have our Penelope Toasted over here, coming in at 74 beans. We also have the Barrel Strength into the Wild Turkey Rare Breed, coming in at 65 beans. Then we have our Old Forester Statesman, and that's going to be 56 beans. And we're going to go into our Michter's Straight Rye for 38 beans, and they're small batch. And then we go into the Four Roses. They have a single barrel here. It's going to be batch 18-2N, into the Clyde Mays and the Long Branch. From there we have our Wild Turkey 101 and the Wild Turkey 101 Rye, into Jim Beam. These are the flavored Jim Beams. We have our Double Oak Jim Beam over here and the Rye Black. We have our Knob Creek 9, the Knob Creek Maple and the Rye, into the Basil Hayden's up here. And then they got, all right, over here we've got our Jefferson's Marion for 324 beans, into our Redbreast 15 that comes in at 131 beans. They also have the Kentucky Owl Wise Man Bourbon over here. And this particular bottle is going to be the 475 beans. And then we go into the George Dickel Leppold Brothers 3 Chambers, coming in at 131 beans. And then we have our Whistling Pig 15 Estate Oak Rye, coming in at 245 beans. And we also have our Whistling Pig Single Barrel Rye 10-year. From there, we're going to go into our Yellowstone and Basil Hayden. Yellowstone's for 61 beans, and the Basil Hayden is going to be aged 10 years, artfully aged, for 76 beans, into the Michter's Small Batch and Michter's Sour Mash Small Batch. From there, we have our George Dickel 17, and that comes in at 245 beans, into the Ammunition, which is veteran owned. And then from there we go down into our Woodinville Bourbon Whiskey, into our Keeper's Heart, and we also have some Rabbit Hole And we have the Knob Creek 12 over here. Remember, over here, they are swimming in Sazerac rye left and right. Sazerac rye flows like water. Everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Exotic Bourbon Hunter, and have a marvelous evening and support your troops. All right, everybody, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to support your troops. Forget about it, everybody. Bada bing, bada boom. Have a great night and have a happy new year.